Everybody, what is going on? The Catch fam, I hope you guys are doing phenomenal tonight, man. Hope everyone out there has had a great Saturday. Hope you guys have had a great start to the weekend. I hope you guys are ready for a night of fantasy Q&A. We're live tonight with Pete from After the Review. We are answering any fantasy football questions that you guys have. Starts, sits, trades, roster confidence, player confidence, injury updates. Got a couple spicy situations as we approach Sunday. I just realized at the beginning of the stream, I said, I hope everyone's had a great Saturday, but it is Friday. I am
It's
way
only
off.
Friday. Get ahead of yourself.
Anyways, if you guys are new to the channel, thank you guys for being here. Be sure to subscribe on the way in, but more importantly, get in the live chat tonight. It's fantasy Q&A time, ladies and gentlemen. Whatever you guys need, let's get into it. And Pete, thanks for coming on again tonight. How are we doing?
Absolutely. Great time last week. I'm doing all right. My Vikings had a tough one in Philadelphia yesterday, but our passing offense, everybody loves us. Our Kirk, Jefferson, Hawkinson, Addison, we're putting up numbers, baby. So at least the fantasy community is having a good time with us. But yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Interesting week. I struggled in a couple leagues, had a good week in the other one. So early in the year is always very, very interesting to see what teams are going to do and make the adjustments after a wild week one.
So, as a Vikings fan, do you have confidence moving forward?
No. I was worried that it could go bad this year because they drafted Jordan Addison. The conspiracy is they drafted Jordan Addison to trade Justin Jefferson to draft Caleb Williams. That's essentially the whole move, that they'll be willing to get rid of Jefferson because Addison's good. And Addison has showed out, man. He's showing why that could be a conspiracy there. 10 days off. The team hasn't played bad at all. It's 7 turnovers in 2 games. That's the difference. You lost by 6 at Philly. You lost at 3 to Tampa, -3 in turnovers in both those games. So I'm not worried about the offense. They can't block, but the run game, I'd bail on Madison. I'd bail on the run game. Just they're going to throw. And there was a lot of stuff with Madison today. I'm sure you saw all of that stuff. That's just a fun situation to deal with, especially in Minneapolis, where everything kind of kicked off the first time. So, yeah, this team could implode. We could win one game, but I'm here for the ride.
So, I mean, I feel like it's a resilient team. Like
they scored.
I feel like the week 1 game was a bigger deal. Like, you lost to an underdog and everything. Week 2, you fought back against the Eagles. Passing offense, like you said, looks great.
It's just like they should have won. Like Jefferson, the worst rule in football, reared its ugly head last night with Jefferson
going about that too.
Yeah, going into the end zone, that would have put him up 4. Instead, Philly kicks a 61-yard field goal as a result. It's a 10-point swing. And you lose the game by 6 right there. So whenever they fix that rule, everybody but the NFL wants that rule changed, apparently, because it's definitely the worst rule in football. Like, so punitive when everything's all about offense. We're about offense. We're about touchdowns, baby. But no, I guess not that part.
Yeah, I don't understand why that rule is a thing. Maybe just to swing games like last night.
It's just an old rule. It's like from the 30s. They didn't know what to do back in 1930 because football. But let's get into it. Let's get into fantasy.
All right, let's get into fantasy. Enough. Okay. Pete is over the law.
Enough sulking. We need to talk winning here.
Emil, what's going on? Good to see you. Aiden, hello. 3 Walketeers, what's going on, everybody? All right, Kelvion, what's going on, man? Josh Kelly or Mike Williams if Eckler is out? I actually go Mike Williams here. And my reasoning would be week 1, the Titans, 3rd worst team in the league against opposing wide receivers. Olave, Michael Thomas, Shaheed, absolutely 8 against them. And I do think Josh Kelly, fine, good volume week 1. Eckler is probably going to be out just the way things are looking. But the Titans, while they were bad against the pass, they were not bad against the run. So, and last year, that's how it was throughout the season as well. So, Josh Kelly looked fine last week, probably looked better because he didn't have the pressure of being the RB1. But now Eckler's out. tough run unit. Mike Williams has the upside here. I go Mike Williams personally.
I'm good with Kelly though. Like I love what I saw from Kelly last week, honestly. But
Sure.
like you said, Tennessee's so good. Mike Williams, my guy. I will always ride with Mike Williams.
Yeah, I Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, I think are both names that you need to kind of fire up going into this matchup. And quite frankly, if DeAndre Hopkins is healthy, which right now he's listed as questionable as of 3 hours ago, I love Hopkins because on the other side, the Chargers were awful against the pass. If you guys didn't know that, the opposing wide receivers, they were the worst unit in week 1 against opposing wide receivers, which was mainly Tyreek Hill, but they still finished 32nd. So, it's a great matchup for D-Hop. And if you're really desperate, I think Treylon Burks is risky, but could be interesting as well. Last year when the Chargers played the Titans, both Mike Williams and Keenan Allen had double-digit fantasy points. So
there you go. I'd be worried about who's quarterback in Tennessee. Mike Vrabel, not a ringing endorsement of Ryan Tannehill this week.
Yeah, that's been my problem with them, all going into the year.
Forever. It feels like now.
Derrick Henry's one thing, but if you're going to be drafting a Titans wide receiver, they're just not going to throw the football enough. But Hop got enough targets week 1 that I feel good about him. But
yeah, I was a little surprised by that, honestly.
I was too.
New Orleans defense, no slouch at all.
Sure. Emil traded for Garrett Wilson, my home league. Good move or not? I mean, it depends on what you gave up, but I don't mind Garrett Wilson as a flex play moving forward. I don't love him this weekend against the Cowboys, but overall, Garrett Wilson, a solid flex play last year. Yeah, quarterback situation is going to be what it is, but I still think Wilson is worth a flex due to sheer talent alone. But yeah, it depends on what you gave up. I'm not out on Garrett Wilson. Some people out there are. I'm not. But week 2 against the Cowboys, it might be.
I drafted Garrett Wilson first. I was reaching on him, but I have a couple Jets fans in my home fantasy league, so maybe I can get a little fleece going right there. They'll take him right off my hands for anything, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm not out on him quite yet. We'll see what happens. Do you think CJ Stroud plays? Is Stroud hurt?
He got added to the injury report today, and he's now questionable.
He is. Shoulder issue. So let's see here. Stroud is questionable for Sunday's game against the Colts after being limited due to shoulder issue. Yeah, not a lot of good information on our end. Shoulders could be weird, especially when you're a quarterback. So I hope he plays. I don't want to watch Davis Mills or Case Keenum. I wonder how much the line has moved in Vegas on this game. I mean,
I can probably look, but I don't know why you would play him. Why would you play him is my whole thing.
I mean, could be Superflex, Dynasty.
No, I mean if I'm the Texans, why would the I'm literally I get why you play with fantasy. Why would you play him for the Texans?
It is somewhat
He's a rookie. He's a rookie. I don't want to. You don't want to risk your rookie out there you invested a lot in him as your franchise quarterback. We're not winning any Super Bowls in Houston this year, so you might lose the battle.
It's not like he looked bad in week 1. I mean, he didn't have any turnovers, didn't look outstanding, but
rookie quarterbacks.
He threw the ball. I mean, and he threw the ball.
They're not good.
Yeah.
Not good yet. They're not good yet.
Sure. So
no line movement. So
that might be something to take a look at for those of you interested. But again, the Colts kind of suck, so I don't know.
This is true.
Jackson, trade Kirk and Pittman for Hurts, 4-point passing touchdown, 12-man PPR. It depends on your wide receivers, but yeah, if you have a chance to go get Hurts, you should absolutely consider it. I mean, it's not like the way this offense is running right now. I mean, 26 points in week 2 is still pretty dang good. So, I mean, week 1, a little bit of disappointment, but that was at New England. They're historically a great defense. So, it just depends on the full roster. Context matters, but possibly, yeah. Aiden, Chubb and Cleo Herbert for Mike Evans and Judy and Mixon. I mean, it depends how bad do you need the wide receiver depth. If you need it, then I think it's fine. But Chubb is the best player out of either side for sure. But if you are really struggling at wide receiver and maybe you're not hurting too bad at running back, I think it's okay. But Chubb is still the guy I want the most out of any of these players. So, Albert, what's going on? Hello. Aiden, fellow Vikes, fantasy tough schedule, but a lot of talent. O-line is in trouble. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Pete and I were talking about that before the stream. It's like, if you're Kirk Cousins, you're the nicest man in the entire world, but you have to be a little pissed. I mean, every time I see him take a hit, I'm like, dang, dude.
And it's not like this is a new issue is the real problem. Like the
Yeah.
interior O-line has been bad for 4 years now.
Yeah, like I would like almost the whole time he's been there, Yeah.
They've done nothing to address it seriously.
Awful. Dom, what's going on? It is a big problem, going back to that. It's like, it's not just the Vikings. A lot of teams that do this, like the Jets,
They at least tried. They whiffed on a couple of picks. They at least tried. I'll give them some credit.
That I feel like really did it, and maybe part of that, this was luck, was the Buccaneers when Brady joined. Because going into that year, it was like, I don't know, this team is going to be able to protect Brady. They have everything else, and they just really shored up that offensive line perfectly. But
yeah, they hit a home run when Wirfs fell to them, and it was like, oh yeah, this guy's going to be a stud.
Yeah. Ibrahim, what's going on? What kicker do I drop for McPherson based off production only this week, not season long? Miami, Dallas, Niners, Titans. Wait, what kicker do I drop for McPherson? Or what kicker do you pick up to replace him? Nick Folk of the Titans or Moody of the Niners are the two guys that stand out to me. But Nick Folk is like, it could be a little bit inconsistent at times, but when Nick Folk hits, it's like having a super flex option. Like he's getting you like 15 plus points. He made 5 field goals in week 1, and the Titans are that type of team that don't finish drives, have trouble sustaining drives and get in field goal range, and are like, all right, let's kick a field goal and play defense the whole game. So Nick Folk is like a smash play if I'm reading this question correctly. We appreciate you, Ibrahim. Saints or Niners, D? I mean, I really like the Saints, but I don't think you can sit the Niners like ever. I mean, I haven't looked at
there's no shot the Rams offense is going to be as good as it was last week. There's no shot.
Even if it is, like the Niners still put up double digits. Like,
yeah, right. You go to your horse. I get the Saints play though, like at Carolina Monday night. Juicy setup.
I like that play a lot.
Since Bryce looked pretty bad last week.
But the Niners have the Giants in week 3, then the Cardinals in week 4 before they face Dallas and Cleveland. Then they're at Minnesota, then at home against Cincy, then at Jacksonville, then at Philly. So they have a little bit of a tough stretch.
I wouldn't be so worried about Minnie though. It's the same. It's the McVay offense. It's the McVay. Kyle Shanahan it's the McVay offense. He knows how to shut it down.
That's true. But so I mean, they might have a little bit of a blip, but they're too good, and
they're so good.
I mean, like it depends on your league, but if you're able to go out and flip them for a valuable player and then play the streaming game, that's one thing. Because I do agree with Pete that Monday night game, Saints against Bryce Young, you have to expect good things out of that. They have a little bit of a softer schedule overall looking forward as well. So, but who knows? I mean, the Saints 9 points in week 1. We'll see. Both are good plays at the end of the day. Don't overthink it. Sat Swift last night. Yeah. I mean, the 2 players Steve and I were saying to start and the most last night were Swift and Addison. So we felt smart for once. But I get it. Like, and there were some situations where we said, Swift still holds risk, but has a lot of upside. And maybe you want to go with a different player. You don't feel like taking the risk. But I mean, I said all off season long, Swift's been my guy. But I still get it. Week 1 was a little disheartening. But I started him in every league I have him. So I feel good about that. But hopefully he stays healthy. And hopefully the Eagles don't hate him or anything like the Lions did.
No, he's going to get hurt.
I surely hope not. I just hope not, man.
No, forget him.
Pick 2, Kelly, Puka, Algier, Kirk, Sutton. Call me crazy. I go Algier and Kirk here. Algier in a good position, I think, at least against the Packers. They let's see, in week 1, the Packers, yeah, I mean, they were 24th overall against opposing running backs, which is not very good. So I like them quite a bit, actually.
I started Algier over Addison, so I like Algier a lot too.
Yeah. And then I think Christian Kirk bounces back. And, guys, that I love Christian Kirk. So if you think it's too biased, trust your gut. But I do like him in this matchup against the Chiefs. If he plays poorly again and the target share is bad again, then that's fine. We can move on. But I'm giving him another shot here in week 2, competitive, high-scoring matchup, more than likely. Sutton might be okay again, but if Judy's
If
out
Judy's
there,
back, it
yeah,
helps a lot.
the Commanders looked like the Commanders last week.
But we don't know. Like, right, we don't know. It wasn't a real offense they played.
Yeah. And I mean, this game's in Denver, so I still don't dislike Sutton. I mean, I talked about Sutton a lot in the offseason. I think he's a floor play every week in full PPR if he's healthy. But what's the ceiling, really? So if you go Sutton, maybe over Kirk, if you're more comfortable, that's fine. I put Kelly out against the Titans, personally. And then Puka, a little banged up, and I don't like him against the Niners. So I like Algier and Kirk here, but that's me. Smokey, good to see you, bro. What's up? What's up? Drop 1. Pirine, Chiron, Roshan, or Warren. I'd probably drop Pirine, I guess, because I don't like the Broncos offense. But this is what I would do: is I would look at these 4 guys and say, who do you like the least in terms of their offense? I mean, Pirine got some good volume in the passing game in week 1, 11 fantasy points. I just don't feel great. I mean, you have more upside in the handcuff plays and the other guys listed. So
I'm so worried about Pittsburgh though. Like, I'm so worried about what I saw last week.
I was about to say the same thing. Like, I don't really like Jaylen Warren. I haven't really been like a Jaylen Warren guy ever. But I don't know. I mean, I would definitely keep Roshan and Kyron because I feel like they have the most upside. I think you kind of look at, Broncos, Steelers, and Smokey coincidentally is a Steelers fan. So he's probably going to keep Warren. But I agree. I mean, I read that, what's their offensive coordinator's name? Oh God.
No idea. I shouldn't.
He's the worst.
Too many.
Steelers. I got it. Yeah, Matt Canada.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I heard he called the same passing play 8 times that game. I'm like,
I mean, that's okay if you're throwing for 400 yards. It's like, the Dolphins. But...
yeah. But it's like, geez, man. So yeah, I go between Pirine and Warren for me. But with this tier, like handcuff guys, anyone's guess is as good as mine. Kelly or Monty? I'm going Monty, baby. Love this matchup against the Hawks. I think Gibbs will be more involved, but Seahawks gave up 3 rushing touchdowns last week, and they were really bad against the run last year. Monty's going to get a shot to score. He's going to get that 3 down back kind of style usage, while Gibbs is the change of pace guy. Once again, I'm not very high on Kelly this week. Call me crazy. It's not completely overreact to week 1. Tough run unit in the Titans. He's okay. I like Monty, though. Trey, what's up, my guy? 18 PPR, 1 flex, Hurts, ETN, Walker, CD Olave, Devonta. Jeez. Benches, Sanders, London, Jamal, Pitts, Flowers, Algier, and Puka. Trade ideas. I mean, you don't really need to trade anyone. It's tough in an 8-team, but your team looks perfectly fine. Your starting lineup is great. So, I mean, maybe maybe get more
like a
upside of running back. Go ahead.
I was thinking like a running back upgrade
Yeah,
if, the Seahawks fall off a cliff, which they might,
sure.
and, Carolina's terrible. I don't trust Jamal Williams in New Orleans either. But, the Seahawks could get right back to running the football and Kenneth Walker's a home run.
Yeah,
And, Sanders gets every touch in Carolina. Like
I
Carolina's
definitely.
gonna be good in like week 8. You just know it's gonna happen. Everyone's gonna
It
dump
does.
all the Carolina stock, and then week 8, Carolina gets this offense figured out, and they are scoring some points again.
It happened last year after they traded CMC. Like, at least
Who
from
would
a
have
fantasy
guessed?
perspective.
Yeah.
I would definitely keep Algier and Flowers on this team. And I wouldn't give up on London quite yet unless you get too good of an offer to give up. But yeah, I agree. Sanders, Jamal Williams. I guess Pitts is your starter. I don't see another tight end listed. It's like, that's another thing. You could upgrade from Pitts, but like I don't really know what you're gonna get. Tight end is kind of a wasteland right now.
It's tough.
But I think anyone else you can move here and try and upgrade at running back. But like CD, Olave, Devonta, Hurts, ETN, and I think Walker's fine for now. You look you're in pretty good. Oh, Kelsey is your tight end. Yeah, you can move on from Pitts if you want. So Sanders, Williams, Pitts, and even Puka. I mean, he could be very solid this year, but he could also be a guy that if you're selling him right now, you could get a really valuable asset. And we don't quite know what we're going to get out of him this year. So a little bit of risk there. Could be something that you kind of beat yourself up for, or you could look back and say, oh, that was a smart move. So yeah, I think, if you want to try and upgrade at running back, that makes the most sense. But I do think Jamal Williams is going to have a nice week 2, actually. He had 18 touches in week 1 against a relatively good run unit. I think in week 2 against the Panthers, who, if you didn't watch last week, gave up a tremendous amount of points to the running back position. I think he'll have a nice week 2, but don't base your entire season off week 2. So never had it so good. PPR need 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, and 1 flex. Moss, Pirine, Carrion, Akers, Kirk, Jones, Elijah Moore. I mean, 1 running back, kind of, I don't go either Rams running back against the Niners. I don't love Pirine against Washington. And that leaves us with Zach Moss, who has the best matchup, but do we trust him? I mean, Pirine for 4, Moss for upside, but it's upside based off the matchup, not based off Zach Moss. Kirk, Zay Jones, Elijah Moore. I go Kirk and Elijah Moore personally. I like Elijah Moore against Pittsburgh this week. Actually, they're very bad against the wide receiver position in week 1. And Elijah Moore tied for team targets with 7. Jones, okay, if you like him, I guess. All right. Tommy, I've probably asked this multiple times, but I'm stuck. If Christian Watson sits, who should I flex? Kendrick Bourne, Shaheed, Kyron Williams. For a floor, it's Kendrick Bourne. For upside, it's Shaheed, in my opinion. Kendrick Bourne, a weird player to evaluate right now.
Like, yeah, what? That was such a weird game.
The Panthers were pretty decent against opposing wide receivers in week 1, but I think that had more to do with the fact that Arthur Smith coaches the Falcons than the Panthers being good at defense. I'd probably go Kendrick Bourne because the matchup against Miami is good. They look like they don't want to play defense. They just want to get Tua back on the field, and they're acting like it's a game of Madden, basically. It's funner to play offense on Madden than it is to play defense. So,
and you know what? The Patriots offense, like we said, they look competent. That was they ran plays with purpose. They set stuff up. So I'd be very happy if I have Patriots offense. I know Stevenson didn't have a good game, but they look like they might be able to throw the football, which good. Thankful.
And Stevenson did, 6 targets, 6 receptions. We like that. And this is a good matchup for Stevenson as well. He's a smash play. I mean, Miami, once again, not only did they give it up through the air, Eckler and Kelly just ran all over them. So I go Kendrick Bourne here. Shaheed is interesting too. But I don't go Chiron versus the Niners. That's for sure. Roll out Kendrick Bourne, see what happens. Yeah, AJ Brown right now. I mean, Penny screwed up that one play. The next play was probably pass interference, but I think the refs in Vegas were like, let's make
They
this
weren't
game.
calling anything last night.
They're like,
Anything.
let's push this a little bit more competitively. But once again, I mean, AJ Brown probably catches that, but he might not. He probably does. But yeah, he, obviously on the sideline was upset, and then Hurts, I went to him like 2 or 3 plays in a row right after that. But yeah, I was disappointed with that. I own a little bit of AJ Brown.
Same.
Black Mamba, what's going on? Appreciate it. Non-PPR Algier or Cooks. I love both these guys this week. I like Cook a lot. Good usage on the ground and through the air in week 1 against a good defense. Gets a much better matchup against the Raiders. But I think I'd go Algier right now. Ride that train till it falls off the track.
Cook did look good at least. Like he looked
did.
fast. He got to the edge quite a few times against that Jets defense. So yeah, maybe a pause this week, but don't sell the Cook stock. I would be very optimistic with him the rest of the year.
Yeah, I like both these guys this week. Cook, I have a video coming out tomorrow, 5 more must-start players for the week. Cook's on there. I like him a lot, but I think you ride this Arthur Smith train of running backs until it falls, but I don't know if it will. So T-Raw, what's up? Who do I put in? I have Eckler, Kyron Williams, Akers, Moss. That's tough. Because Kyron, I just don't love against the Niners. I might go Akers. I mean, not very efficient, but at least he scored a touchdown. I mean, it's tough here. Oh, wait. What am I saying? Kyron gets the... Oh, yeah. Akers also gets the Niners. So
there's no win here. It's not great.
Yeah, this is one you kind of trust your gut. Because, I mean, like, Zach Moss has the best matchup. But it's like we said a couple questions ago, it's Zach Moss. Like, I don't know. Like, who even knows? Like, someone else could end up getting the touches. I don't know what this team is right now. Chat, who do you guys like? Kyron Williams, Cam Akers, or Zach Moss? I mean, with this, maybe I go Kyron. Maybe. Because he got the most goal line work, and, the Niners not going to give up a ton, but maybe they, give up 1 or 2 drives, and Kyron is a guy, and he stumbles in. But that's a lot of what ifs. So I don't want to start Zach Moss, but at least he plays the Texans. I don't know.
At least he plays a football team.
Yeah. DeAndre Swift season. Let's go, baby. We called it last night. We weren't disheartened by week 1, were we? Let's go. AGZ, what's good, my guy? Picked up Henry to replace Chig and was planning on dropping him, but now with possibly Hopkins out, who do I play? You still play Henry. No. You don't go to Chig here. No. Henry, I mean, once again, Miami, bad against the wide receiver position, bad against the running back position, still in the bottom 25, 26 off the top of my head against the tight end position. Henry looked good week 1. So I go Hunter Henry for sure. Yeah, Chig, not a player that I'm like super high on. So Puka or Mike Williams, I go Mike Williams. Yeah, it's just a better matchup. I mean, we just don't want to I mean, let me see if there's an update on Puka. He's still listed as questionable. Yeah. I mean, 4 hours ago, questionable to face the Niners. So there's that aspect, and there's that part that it's the Niners. So yeah. I just go
commodities. Proven commodities. Puka's played 1 football game. He could be terrible, but who knows? Mike Williams, good at football every day.
Good matchup too. We love this matchup.
Very, very good matchup.
Yeah. Dom agrees. Let's go. Sport Dog, what's up, dude? I pick up Kelly. Would you put him in running back or flex? I'm using Stevenson and Cook. 2 flex. I could run Davis or Monty or Garrett. Yeah, or Aaron Jones. No, I don't go Kelly over any of these guys. It's the same thing Pete was just saying. Like, proven commodity. Like, yeah, Kelly looked very good week 1. Miami looked awful. Do the Titans look awful against the run? No.
No.
I mean, Eckler might be out, but does that help Kelly or does it put more pressure on him? And I mean, right now, like it looks like teams are going to be throwing against the Titans, and we know the Chargers can throw the football. Kelly is fine, but when you have players like you start Stevenson and you start Cook, I love those guys this week. But even Monty and Aaron Jones and even Garrett Wilson, like I still would start them over Kelly. Gabe Davis, that's one thing, but Jones still listed as questionable, I believe, as well. Missed practice 3 hours ago, did not practice today. So he's a tough situation. But yeah, that's just Aaron Jones. You still have 2 other players. I will go Monty.
Monty for sure.
Yeah, I love that matchup for Monty. So I would not go Kelly over those guys. Monty, Cook, Jamal Williams, RB2. I mean, Monty for 4, James Cook for upside, and I really actually like Jamal Williams' matchup this week. So these are all good options. But Monty's probably the safest play. James Cook, if you want a little bit of PPR upside.
Like Buffalo, like maybe they hang a 40 piece this week after losing. Who knows what? That's
and it's like it is kind of like the Raiders are like 17th in the league against running backs going off of week 1. Not great, not awful, middle of the pack. But the Raiders like surprisingly played pretty well week 1, but then once again it's like, is that because the Broncos are still incompetent, or is it because the Raiders are maybe a little bit better defensively than we thought they were going to be this year? I would say it's just whenever the Broncos play teams, it's like everyone like downgrades offensively on both sides. It's like, what in the world?
We just don't know what to do with them. But like Vegas going across country, Buffalo losing that way in that game. They're back at home.
Yeah.
I think they're going to try and run this bad boy up, but
I agree. Yeah. Raiders are just a weird team every year. Every year. Warrior Loft, what's good, man? Good to see you. Jude, no, I asked this yesterday, but should I start Stevenson or Keenan with Eckler being doubtful? I mean, you can't really go wrong here. Stevenson made the must-start running back list. Keenan makes the must-start players for tomorrow's video. They're both phenomenal starts. They really are. Eckler being out doesn't really swing it too crazy for me, like towards Keenan, but I'll say this much. I think Stevenson has a little bit more upside, but Keenan's just a really safe play. Really, really safe play. All right, here's a good question, Pete. Do you think Swift was that great last night because the Vikings' run defense is probably the worst in the league from what I saw?
I mean, I don't even think they're the worst in the league. I think the problem is Philly's offensive line is oversized. Minnesota's front seven is undersized. It's a really bad matchup when you,
because the Vikings,
they were fine against White last week against Tampa Bay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but they looked actually good against a run in week 1.
And they were so committed. If you watch the first half, Jalen Hurts was not running on them. That was like, we're taking away Jalen Hurts running on us, and Philly adjusted, and there was just nobody up the middle. Everybody was on the edges trying to contain Hurts. And they just got gash. But Eagles run game is good. That's a plug and play offense. They don't care. They got rid of Sanders because they don't care.
Yeah, offensive line is that good. But
plug and play.
I'm still a Swiftie. I believe in Swift. He is also good because he is good. But I mean, a couple of factors here, but I think against soft matchups, overall, I think Swift is going to continue to be a strong play. The bigger question will be, like, this was a smash play last night because Kenneth Gainwell was out. The bigger question will be, what do things look like when Gainwell's back? Because the Eagles still want to use him. And you look at last year, like they utilized more than one running back. I think Penny is really starting to downgrade on this roster. I mean, I think we could even see more Boston Scott potentially. But we'll see. They get Tampa Bay in week 3. So, I mean, Madison played okay against them in week 1, but most of that was him getting into the end zone. So, and they get Washington. So they have some good tests. They even get the Jets in week 6. So we'll kind of see. We'll get a good idea moving forward. Are you taking Folk over Moody this week? Kind of high on Dallas's kicker versus the Jets as well. Nah, I think Folk or Moody are who I would go with personally. Folk is like just a hard player to not start. For what it's worth, Steven does our must-start kickers. He has Folk and Moody both on there for the week. So, how do you see Joshua Kelly doing while Eckler is out? I think he's perfectly okay, but I mean, I don't know. I'm not 100% confident in this matchup for Kelly. I think a big part of it is like, does he score? I mean, at 5.6 yards per carry last week, a touchdown, 91 yards on the ground, 15 fantasy points. Okay, that's good. 16 rushing attempts. But when we look at this Titans defense against the run specifically, Jamal Williams, 18 touches last week, 2.5 yards per carry, a fumble, no touchdown, 45 yards on the ground. So, I mean, say what you want, but Jamal Williams versus Josh Kelly, I mean, say what you want, whatever. I don't know. I'm not quite there. If you have no better option, then so be it. But this Titans run defense is not the Dolphins run defense. So that's my answer. Giants versus Arizona or Jets versus Dallas?
This is a great question. I love this question. I was looking ahead at this question because this is like a bad defense against a bad offense, or a great defense versus a good offense. But they have a bad offense, and the other team's defense is great, so they could put them in really bad spots.
Yeah. It is really interesting here. I think the Jets are still a floor play. I mean, you think about last week, they had 3 picks against Josh Allen. So it's not like they can't produce against good offenses. I think the Giants hold a lot more risk. I actually think Arizona could really surprise people in this game. They surprised people last week. That's not to say that the Giants don't have a good game, or maybe it all just like they were amped up for week 1. They had time for a game plan. They put it together. They only lost by a point or whatever. Then in week 2, it's like the Giants coming off of that week 1 loss, like they're ready to go. Brian DeBall opens things up, hopefully, because week 1 was a disaster. I don't know. Steven likes the Giants this week. Once again, Steven does our must-start defenses. He had them on there. They were good last year, kind of. I might just roll with the Jets personally, but it's a tough question. Chat, let us know. Giants versus the Cardinals, Jets versus the Cowboys. The most intriguing thing is 3 turnovers against the Bills in week 1.
4. They got the fumble too.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. 3 picks, 1 fumble. RGQ. I have Lockett as my wide receiver 3, Williams at flex, Waller tight end. Should I change any of these? Choose from Bourne, Shaheed, Cook, Henry. No. Unless Lockett is, I mean, he was a little dinged up, but it looks like he's good to go, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on. He got a concussion, right? Oh, he's cleared. So, I mean, Lockett's a tough guy to sit. I think you roll with Lockett.
Detroit's it's not like Detroit's pass defense was good. The Chiefs just couldn't catch the football. They were wide open.
Yes. Yeah, I talked about that. The quarterback tight end streaming options for the week. It's like Goff should have a pretty good game, I think. I mean, yeah, I completely agree. Or excuse me, not Goff.
Gino
can actually have a pretty decent game here because, yeah, the Chiefs just weren't catching footballs. So I think you're fine if you really want to make a move. Nah, I don't think I'd do it. Cook is still intriguing, but I don't think I'd do it. Start Puka versus the Niners or Zay Jones. I like Jones, actually.
I got Zay Jones stock.
Yeah. I mean, Puka is okay, but the Niners are much more okay. And Puka is still banged up. He might not play. I mean, Tutu Atwell might become like the most added player in like between Saturday and Sunday in all fantasy formats. All right, who should I play in my flex spot? Full PPR: Gibbs, Kelly, Williams, Connor, Najee, Gibbs. Oh, maybe Mike Williams. That's tough. Gibbs closer to a floor. Mike Williams for the upside, but those are 2 good plays. And I like Najee this week, actually.
Really?
Yes, because the Browns were pretty good defensively, but really the Bengals were just bad
That
offensively, and
that is true. They
they
could not block. They could not complete passes.
and the Browns still struggled against the run in week 1. Mixon was having a good game, but then it just got to the point where the Bengals could not run the football anymore in that game to stay in the game. So I mean, don't get me wrong, like the Browns look pretty good defensively week 1, but Mixon, let's see here, on the ground, still had 56 yards off 13 attempts, so not awful. So I think Najee is like a sneaky floor play, but when you have players like Gibbs or Mike Williams, you're not thinking about it, you know. But that is tough. Chat, who would you guys pick between Gibbs and Mike Williams, or I guess if you like Kelly, Connor, or Najee? But that's
Gives her
tough.
Mike Williams. I'm thinking
That's tough, man. RGQ, that was half PPR. Yeah, I still go Lockett, Williams, Waller. Space Ghost making moves. Warloff turnout. Most starts DMP was just a rest day. Start Kelly versus the Titans or most start. I don't really like either matchup, but yeah, I think you get a floor play no matter what here. It's kind of gross.
what is what is Bill gonna make Miami do? I think they're gonna take away Tyreek, aren't they, and Waddle. I think they might make them run the football.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's Bill. He could do whatever. But I feel like that's the play because they took away, they went against the run last week. Like they're all over the place in New England.
Yeah, it's tough. I think both are. I mean, even most start in week 1 with the touchdowns still only had 13 fantasy points, which is not bad. I mean, anytime you hit double digits, I'm like, yeah, it can be better, but I'm still happy at least, I think most start is okay. I probably like him more than Kelly. I don't know. A lot of people out there are just going to be, here's just my worry is so many people are going to plug in players like Josh Kelly, Kyron Williams, who both have bad matchups, Kendrick Bourne, who could maybe be consistent this year or completely fall off the face of the earth. Puka, like I get it. Like we want to roster these guys, but we don't want to put them in over proven players at the end of the day. Because this happens every year. Every year. First 4 weeks on that waiver wire. And you're going to hit on some guys, but we also want to be slightly cautious. Traded Najee and Wilson for Monty and Higgins. I like that trade for you a lot.
Yep.
I mean, I like Wilson still, but I like that trade for you.
Two bad teams versus two good teams.
Paul, pick 2, Herbert, Monty, Walker. Monty and Walker. I hate Khalil Herbert right now. I don't know why, but
because the Bears.
Yeah, I really was banking on him, and he could still be. I mean, once again, we just you don't want to overreact to week 1, but
I am. Forget the Bears. The Bears offense. I mean, the Packers defense is not that good. They're okay. Yeah. They're good. They're not that good.
I don't feel good about Herbert right now. I just don't. I want to see it proven. Monty and Walker are very safe picks. I roll both of them for sure. Space Ghost. So now I have Fields, Tua, Bijan, Monty, Cook, Herbert, Gainwell, Waddle, Higgins, Flowers, Watson, Dotson. Looks good. And Pitts. All right, Paul, pick 3. Walker, Pacheco, Robinson, Herbert. Once again, I bench Herbert out of these 3. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Pacheco, a little worrisome, but I like Pacheco out of that backfield. I still think he's easily the best back.
I just like what I saw.
Yes.
Like, yeah. Even if a guy doesn't have a good game, it's just like, was he clearly the best running back that Chiefs had? Yes.
Yes. And I said all offseason I thought he would be. McKinnon was barely involved, and this was the type of game script that McKinnon should have got involved in. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, like, hopefully he just disappears.
Just a bust. Just a bust.
I feel like that was just Andy Reid being like, ha, 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 let's throw him off, Who do I drop? Nico, Warren, Jones, Kyron. I mean, I would drop Jalen Warren personally. You get more immediate value out of the other 3 players. Warren's closer to a handcuff. But I definitely keep Nico and Zay Jones.
Zay Jones has so much value, especially if Calvin Ridley looked like everybody hyped him up to be last week. He's going to start getting double coverages. Him and Kirk, Trevor Lawrence is way too good of a quarterback not to hit both those guys.
Yeah, we said it all offseason, Trevor Lawrence can support 3 wide receivers in Evan Engram and Travis Etienne in the pass game if Etienne's going to turn into more of that style of running back. Yeah, I agree. Logan, what's good, man? Eckler for good, possibly. I mean, we still don't have the official word, but it's looking like it. He's listed as doubtful. If so, Connor,
That's out. That's
yeah.
doubtful is out.
Doubtful is bad. Doubtful is almost worse than out. It's like he's out, but they haven't told me yet. Like, Connor or Jamal Williams. I like Jamal Williams this week. I really think this matchup for him is really nice. I mean, Algier and Bijan ran all over that defense last week like it was nothing. I mean, don't get me wrong, that offense is predicated around the running back position, but Connor was okay last week. 12 points was a little bit surprising against Washington. So I think Connor's okay. I mean, 14 rushing attempts, 5 targets, 5 receptions, like pretty James Conner stat line. But I mean, if you want to roll with them, I think he's an okay floor play. But I like Jamal this week personally. FYI, 3 of Patriots O linemen are injured. This is a good point. I still like Ramondre because I'm stubborn, but I think I read at a point this week every Patriots starting offensive lineman was on the injury report. So that is not a good thing.
They'll figure it out. They'll figure it out.
If anyone can just like plug in an offensive lineman that was drafted in like the 8th round that we've never heard of and make them successful, it's Bill Belichick. So
they traded for the Vikings backup tackle for 6th, and now our backup tackle's out for the season. So, way to go, Bill. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, Belichick somehow did that himself, witchcraft or something.
That's what he does.
Drew, Breece Hall, JSN, or Hollywood. Oh, that's a little tough. I just, even in a bad matchup, a matchup that could potentially be ugly based off of week 1, I still go Breece Hall. There's just too much upside. I go Hall.
The Bills, yeah.
I think a lot of people are just assuming that with what the Cowboys did in week 1 and with Zach Wilson playing quarterback for the Jets, that we're just going to get another complete blowout. But I think that the Jets defense will keep this game a little bit. It'll be more competitive than the Giants-Cowboys game.
The problem is I think we're just going to see 8-man, 9-man boxes and dare Zach Wilson to throw against man.
Yeah, and that's fair.
And they're just going to stick Diggs on Wilson. So you're going to have to throw to somebody. Lazard is going to have to be the game plan. But
I mean, one argument is maybe we get some garbage time and Breece Hall shuffles them.
I mean, Breece Hall is the best. Like, clearly Breece Hall is the best player on this list.
I mean, I'm still going to look at a list of players like this and just say who has the most upside for the week, because it's not like this list is great. I mean, Hollywood only had 5 targets in week 1. Like, he's
really bad without Kyler too. His numbers are horrendous.
Absolutely. I mean, Hollywood is a good wide receiver, but he's escalated into fantasy start worthiness by Kyler, because they've played together like since college. And he was fine with Lamar, but I mean, Lamar's a good quarterback. Josh Dobbs is not Lamar or Kyler Murray at the end of the day. JSN, it's too early. I go Breece Hall. Tough matchup though. Paul, pick 3: Reynolds, Mooney, Bateman, McLaurin. I probably bench Bateman out of these 3. Reynolds, a nice little surprise. I mean, I've always liked the connection theory between Goff and Reynolds dating back to the Rams, but Reynolds really showed up. It looked like the wide receiver too, solidified until maybe J-Mo comes back, but even then could still be Reynolds. I bench Bateman. He has a lot of target competition here, especially with Andrews probably coming back. So
Reynolds, sneaky good NFL career. Sneaky good.
I like Reynolds. I always have. 18 PPR: Chubb, Gibbs, Chase, Moore, Dotson, benches, Hopkins, Kirk, Puka, Sanders, Algier. Sanders for Mike Williams, bad trade. No.
Oh, good trade.
No. I mean, you got Chubb and Gibbs. Like, Sanders is fine on the bench. You got Algier. You are pretty stout at wide receiver is the one thing I'll say, but I don't mind it still. I'm not really in love with Sanders right now, so it does kind of hurt your running back depth. I think I agree, but then you can't always turn around and maybe flip a wide receiver or two. I mean, I will say you probably need the running back depth more than the wide receiver depth, but in essence, it is a good trade. So, no problem, Black Mamba. Yeah, it can be tough out here for 12 teamers. I'm in a 16-team league, and
Oh,
I have Deontay Johnson is my wide receiver 2. Luckily, JJ is my wide receiver 1, but I'm in a little bit of a tough position right now. But someone dropped Elijah Moore, which for a 16-teamer, I was a little bit surprised. So hopefully he's something, because right now I'm flexing a running back in that league. So, anyways, is Eckler out for sure? I mean, not technically, but
I wouldn't bet he plays. That's for sure.
yeah. We already answered this one. Let's see. Pick 3 wide receivers for PPR. We'll get to that one. Oh, it's right here. Romeo Dobbs, Cooper, Flowers, Dotson. I like all these guys this week. The Steelers really bad against the wide receiver position week 1, so I probably fire up Cooper. I really like Dotson this week. I really liked him week 1. Kind of disappointed, but most targets on the team last week. And Denver last week, what did they do? They put Surtain on Adams the whole game. I think they put Surtain on McLaurin the whole game. And what did Jacoby Myers do last week? He scored 2 touchdowns. Dotson's a wide receiver 2, just like Jacoby Myers is. I really like Dotson this week. But man, I like Flowers a whole lot, even if Andrews comes back.
He's by far the best receiver Lamar's ever had. Like,
Flowers
so good. He was so good last week.
Yeah, it's tough here because I like Romeo Dobbs too. And even on a pitch count, he scored 2 touchdowns. Like, Watson could come back. Maybe that impacts him. Probably doesn't. Probably helps him, if anything. But maybe just with Dobbs still being technically banged up, you go Cooper, Flowers, Dotson. But gosh, this is tough. Chat, let us know what you guys think of this one. This one's tough. I mean, they're all good options. This is one of those situations where you trust your gut. I probably fire up Cooper. He plays well in primetime games, and the Steelers look very bad against position. But I really like Dotson, and I think Flower is going to ball, but I like Dobbs too. So it's tough. Tough. Main QB's Hurts. Backup is Richardson. Looking to package trade him and Algier when Anthony goes off. Yeah. I mean, do what you got to do. All right. Sorry. Chat is messing up for me and starting at the top. I don't know why it does this. Let me see. All right. Main. Who would you guys trade Kelsey for? Waller and Chubb? I mean, I wouldn't trade Kelsey for anything.
Nothing.
Unless it was like ridiculous. But running backs are Jacob, Sanders, Pierce. I mean, I don't really love Waller. I think he's fine.
He's already questionable. He already had the questionable. He's 1 hit away from being done for the season.
I mean, he did have the most targets in week 1, but I don't know if we can really evaluate this team based off of week. Well, he was tied with Slayton, but whatever. I don't even really evaluate this team at all right now. I just don't trade Kelsey. Like, you have to get even a Kelsey missing week 1, you still have. I mean, it's not even like the Cooper Kupp situation. It's not like the Jonathan Taylor situation. Like, it's Kelsey. You know, he's been a tight end 1 or 2 every year since like 2015 or 16. I don't know. I could look. I have it right here. But
he's head and shoulders above every other tight end, and it's just a boo boo. Just got a little boo boo on his knee. It's gonna hurt. There's no structural damage. There's nothing like that.
I mean, he was joking about it in practice today.
Yeah.
Clip. I mean, like, tight end 1 every year since 2016, except 2021 when he was a tight end 2. Top 10 tight end every year since 2014. So tight end 9, 2014 and 15, then tight end 1 or 2 every other year. I mean, he's older. He could get hurt. He got a little hurt, whatever. He's still Kelsey. Like, I just don't do it.
He's got a new girl. He might be rejuvenated out there, allegedly.
He's a true Swiftie. But allegedly. But maybe he's distracted. Maybe he wasn't really hurt. He was hanging out with Taylor Swift. I don't know. But
Patrick would never let that happen.
No.
Patrick would never let that happen.
If you're going to trade Kelsey, you better be getting a haul. And you don't want to trade him right now. You're trading him at lower value. Like, he's going to have a good game this weekend. It's going to be a good game overall. You wait until, if anything, if you're really going to trade him, you wait until after he balls out, you know? Do I start Buffalo's defense or Tampa, Indy, Houston? I mean, I like Tampa this week. I don't really like Buffalo's defense. I kind of alluded to this in the offseason. I don't really think they're that good. I would go Tampa as a streaming option. Indy, Houston's kind of a coin flip.
I mean, maybe Indy with no C if CJ Stroud doesn't play and it's Davis Mills.
But once again, like I don't always like starting a defense just because the offense isn't supposed to be good. Because if they're still a bad defense, good offenses can or bad offenses can score against bad defenses. You know, like
Indy's D played great for 3 quarters and then completely forgot how to play defense in the 4th quarter, or maybe. But yeah, I stream Tampa this week, so I like the Tampa stream.
I agree. I like Tampa this week. Ryan, should I start Cook or Wilson flex? Should I pick up Deontay, Roschon, or Hollywood? I can do 2. I go Cook for this week. Don't like move on from Wilson. And I mean, I don't drop James Cook or Garrett Wilson, but Deontay Johnson, Roschon Johnson, and Hollywood are all worth picking up. But I would at the moment pick up Roschon as a bench handcuff. And then, like, yeah, I mean, Deontay's hurt. If your league allows him to be on IR, he's listed as deactivated, which for some leagues you can't move him on IR. And so, I mean, if you can pick up Deontay, throw him on IR, then pick up Roschon and Hollywood, that would be good. If you can't, then maybe you just go Hollywood because at least he's getting snaps right now. But it's gross. I mean, not completely gross, but yeah. Took Swift to the 5.4, got laughed at. Trust your gut. Yeah, I got laughed at a lot throughout the offseason about my Swift call. But hey, it's early. But it's still DeAndre Swift season. So let's go. Anton, need 1 running back, 2 flex, Sanders, White, Watson if healthy, Dotson, Flowers, Dobbs. Yeah, lots of good options here. I go Rashad White this week. I think he'll bounce back nicely. The Bears are not competent defensively and maybe offensively. I don't want to give up on that offense yet because I really like them going into the year.
Pretty bad.
Maybe I was wrong. Jeez. But I like White a lot this week. I think he's going to have a good game against the Bears. I don't like Sanders too much against the Saints. It's tough here with the flex because you have 4 good options. Watson and Dobbs is like, what are we going to do here at the moment until things get going and everyone's healthy? Offense looked good week 1. But once again,
the Bears.
A little bit of a tougher matchup against the Falcons this week. I probably would start Dotson and Flowers. But if you want to go Watson or Dobbs, I don't hate it. It's just, for me, it's not really the matchup. It's like, how close to 100% are these guys? We don't really know. I like both Dobbs and Watson a lot. I don't mind rostering both of them either. But the big question is like, what's the health for these guys? So I might just go Dotson and Flowers because I think they're both going to have really good games. Flex Shaheed or Bourne. Talk about some waiver wire pickups. I think Bourne's the better flex this week because Miami doesn't like defense. So pick 2 for wide receiver 2 and flex: Dotson, Watson, OBJ, Collins, Shaheed, Cook, and Njoku, Higbee. I mean, yeah, once again, a lot of good options here. I'd probably go Dotson and Collins. Don't sleep on Nico Collins now. Yeah. Great target share week 1. Bad defense in the Colts. Watson, if you like him over any of those guys and you aren't worried about the injury, then that's okay. Tight end, I mean, bad matchup for Higbee. Not the best matchup for Njoku, but a better matchup. And neither of these guys looked relatively impressive in week 1. So flip a coin. I have a bad feeling Njoku is going to be a big disappointment this year. All right, Sport Dog. Let's John, some tight end talk. I picked up Laporta. I have Musgrave. Penciled in as my tight end 2 due to all the Green Bay wide receiver issues. But Laporta is a similar issue. Just want to hear your take. Yeah, I mean, I like both these guys, but I might go Musgrave because Jordan Love was targeting him, and he did drop that like 41-yard touchdown. but Laporta looked sharp week 1 as well. I think I go Musgrave. I think you trust your gut here, and you go Musgrave. Base goes picked up Gainwell. Swift does that with my luck. Swift just took RB1 role. I think Gainwell will be involved once he's back. I do. Be interesting to see. But his value looks a little bit tamed. But I still like Gainwell.
It's Philly. We just said 2 backs. 2 backs. We're fine.
At least.
Maybe 4.
Yeah. Happy PR start Kelly or Connor. I mean, I think I go Connor here. I don't feel good about this Kelly start against the Titans. I just don't.
And Dallas's offense was not good last week, but Tony Pollard was. Like, they ran the ball very effectively against the Giants defense. Now you can say, what's the effort level? Things kind of snowballed. We don't know. But yeah, James Conner's good. Like, he gets fantasy points. He scores fantasy points.
Yeah. He feels safer. So I think I go Connor. Jim, rate my team. Dak, Saquon, Pollard, DK, Higgins, Dotson, Tucker. Yeah, for a 14-teamer, yeah, this looks very good. Did not expect that to be a 14-teamer. How did you... I mean, I guess you probably went
Saquon, Pollard,
Higgins at the turn, and Metcalf. And then, yeah, okay, that makes sense. But in a 14-teamer, it doesn't make as much. That's a good little squad. You're fine.
Everyone must have bid on quarterbacks early.
Yeah.
And he went skill. And then
I like it.
Bet.
Super CMB, what's up, man? Sit 1. Sanders, Monty Hall. I said Sanders. Broncos, Browns, Giants, Bucks. I like the Bucks. Broncos are interesting, but the Broncos are a good defense. They're not a good fantasy defense. They don't get a ton of turnovers. I go the Bucks. Last question. You're fine, man. Gibbs, Cook, Sanders, Kelly, sit 2. Sanders and Kelly for me. I like the upside of Gibbs and Cook in the pass game. John, start Jones or Watson? That's interesting. You know, like, I think Jones could end up being one of the better, like, streaming options of the week. He got dropped in a lot of leagues. The Giants are not going to play how they played in week 1 this week. It's not even a knock on the Cardinals, surprisingly good in week 1, but they're just not going to play that poorly again. But I'd probably go Watson here.
I saw something like teams who lose double digits at home week 1 are 19-2 against the spread the following week, and the Giants are given 3.5. So
yeah, I think the Giants play pretty well this week. I'll go Watson though. I like Watson against the Steelers. I like that matchup for some reason. Jeezy, what do you like more rest of the season? Baltimore, Detroit? After watching the Kansas City game, I think Detroit's defense might be underrated. Baltimore already has a bunch of injuries and playing Cincy. I think both these defenses will be good this year. From a fantasy perspective, I mean, we want to look at who's going to cause more turnovers. It could be Detroit.
I would think Detroit with the pass rush. But they play Detroit plays Chicago twice. They're terrible. They don't play Minnesota till the championship week is the first time they play Minnesota, or semifinals week. And then the Packers look good on offense. I mean, but Cleveland looked good. If Watson is slightly better than last week, Cleveland's very good offensive team. Cincinnati will be good on offense. They're not going to be bad. So,
I mean, the Ravens are that type of team. Like, they were the defense 7 last year. They had double digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So, and fantasy scoring defenses was not good last year overall. I think the Ravens have a lot of finishes this year, like 7, 6, 9 points. You're like, oh, okay. But then you look at the matchup the following week, and you're like, oh, I have to start them because they're playing this awful quarterback or whatever. So I don't know. I think the floor play is the Ravens. I think the upside lies with the Lions defense. But I think it's a good point that the Lions might have a softer overall schedule for for this coming week, I agree with you, Jeezy. I think you go Lions, but I don't really like rostering two defenses if I can help it. Rashad White or Josh Kelly? I go Rashad White personally. He'll bounce back. Bears suck. Someone sent me a trade giving Jason Patterson for Najee and Kamara. My other running backs are Saquon and Pierce. You don't trade Jamar Chase unless you are getting a top 10 wide receiver in a package. No. I mean, like the Patterson part is kind of nice. But no, like Pierce, I am a little bit worried about because we saw a 3-way split in Houston week 1, but that could just be a lot of teams do that in week 1, you know. But yeah, you have Saquon, you keep Chase. You just have to keep Chase.
Yeah, like Kamara and Najee Harris do not move the needle for a Jamar Chase type acquisition.
You need
McCaffrey. You need like CMC.
Or even like you need a player like a lot like Gibbs or like even like Breece Hall, like as part of like you need someone in there who like escalates the trade a bit, gives you that upside. But yeah, you don't move Chase. You don't. GT Sport pick 3, 2 running backs, 1 flex. Algier, Connor, Dalvin Cook, Rashad White, Sanders, Lockett, Flowers. For me, I like Algier. I like Rashad White. Nice. And then I go Lockett or Flowers, whoever you like more in the flex. But I want to full PPR. I want to flex a wide receiver. So Rashad White, if he does not have a good week 2, you guys can stop listening to me about Rashad White. But I'm telling you, I really think he bounces back against the Bears. It's the perfect type of matchup for him.
Played a great run D week 1. That's all.
Go Vikes, baby. John, any way you could help me out with maybe making any moves to my roster? Yes. Looks like roster might be a little bit lower. Craig Jones or Javonte Zay Jones? Yeah, especially full PPR. Dante, what's good? Half PPR flex, Michael Thomas, Dobbs, or Hopkins? Hopkins if he plays. Great matchup against the Chargers. I would rank these guys D-Hop, Dobbs, Thomas.
Same.
To be my rank. Bryce, need to drop 2. Who do I drop? Cooks, Mitchell, Boyd, Bourne, Bigsby, Warren. I would drop Cooks. I don't like Cooks. But you probably spent the most draft capital on him. Maybe try and trade him.
If you want to get rid of Cooks.
And
somebody will bite.
I don't even really feel particularly good about Tyler Boyd. He's like throughout the whole offseason, I call Tyler Boyd a handcuff wide receiver. Like, don't get me wrong, he's had some very productive years, but when you really looked at last year, he was far too inconsistent. And you're really like waiting for Higgins or Chase to go down. And last year, even when Chase went down, Boyd was not good. So, I mean, I like holding on to Bigsby for now. He needs to stop fumbling. He kind of has a fumbling problem when we go back to the preseason, but they want to get him involved. And like, I'm not crazy about Warren, but he's still a good handcuff. And I think Mitchell is arguably the best handcuff to have, maybe outside of like Algier, but you know, Bourne worth holding on to. Let's see what happens. For me, it's Cooks, Boyd, Warren, but I do agree with Pete. If you can move any of these guys, even package them, that's fine. But for the most part, those guys are just clogging your roster. Like they're just sitting on your bench and you're like, I'm not confident enough to start them, whatever. But they're like tied to the Cowboys or the Bengals, you know, or if Najee gets hurt, then I'm in a better position. I just move on from those guys if you need to. All right. So John, here's the roster. Allen, Bijan, Chubb, Ridley, Godwin, Kittle, Cook. Cowboys, Myers, Lockett, Judy, Freiermuth, Addison, Ford, and Bigsby. I mean, I don't see any issue with this roster. It depends on the, you know, how many teams are in your league and scoring format, but I don't see any problems here. I love Ridley and Godwin. I think Godwin will be better as the season goes on. Bijan and Chubb is very scary. Allen will be okay. Kittle will be fine. Cook is, I mean,
if it's Dalvin, Cook? If it's Dalvin, it's bad. If it's James, it's fine.
Agreed. But Addison is a guy who needs to get in your starting lineup. He should be in your flex, especially if it's full PPR. He should be in your flex. I mean, quite frankly,
we're playing the Chargers next week. We're playing the Chargers on 10 days rest. Start Addison.
fire him up in the flex. And if you don't like him for some reason, you fire up Lockett. They're better options than Cook in the flex, unless it's like not a PPR format. But anyways, you have good options. Your team looks fine. A good depth team overall. K Peeps, Dotson, Jones, Kelly. I go Dotson. I don't know how far back in the chat we are, but I might start kind of speeding through a couple of these because I think we're kind of far back.
We're not too bad.
Okay, good. Puka or Damian Pierce? I mean, PPR, I still go Puka, but he's hurt right now. We don't know if he's going to play. Ghost Hunter, if D-Hop is out, which should I play in my flex? Pickens, B-Rob, Sutton, Chiron. B-Rob? Is that crazy to say?
A little, because like, what was Pickens' targets last week?
I don't know. I don't feel good about Pickens for some reason, but
Cleveland
Deontay's out.
They can't be that good. That's true. I mean,
it's 7 targets, so not bad. 89% snap percentage. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to read too much into this week 1 Browns game. It was a rain game, momentum swing. I don't think every week's going to be.
The Bengals are historically always bad at the start of the season.
They always suck week 1.
Well, because whatchamacallit's never Burrow has always been out for camp and stuff.
Yeah, he doesn't like mini camp. Half PPR though, that might swing me towards B-Rob. B-Rob had a good week 1. The Broncos were good against a run in week 1 though, so that's something to think about. Jacobs did not have a good game. He had 19 rushing attempts for 48 yards, 2.5 yards per carry.
But he missed all of camp too. So
that's true. That's a good point. I might go B-Rob. So half PPR can be tough. If it is full PPR, then I do think Pickens or Sutton are the better play. But yeah, Chiron gets a 9er, so I don't love it. But I go B-Rob. Wide receivers, JJ, Amon-Ra, Waddle, Wilson, Pittman. Running backs, Jones, Najee, Kelly. Would you trade Waddle for Mixon? No. Waddle will be better than he was week 1. Dude, and this is just sometimes you just have a team like this where it's like my running backs aren't great, but my wide receivers are loaded. Just ride that. Like it's okay. It'll balance out the points. Najee, Aaron Jones are really safe plays. I mean, you do need running back depth, but look for it on the waiver wire. The one thing we have to remember, guys, throughout the year, you might not always be the number 1 priority. If you have free agent bidding, you might not have the most money, but running backs are going to come up on the waiver wire. I just don't panic quite yet. Your wide receivers, way too good. Don't forget Waddle was a top 10 wide receiver last year. You can't just offload him for a subpar running back. No offense, Mixon. George, what's up, George? Walker, Cook, and Kelly pick 2. I like Walker and Cook. If Kelly has a good week, you guys can unsubscribe from my
just
channel.
Put a banner, no Kelly, just at the top of the screen.
Freiermuth or Schultz. I still roll with Freiermuth here. He's just such a safe floor play. I mean, he was the one thing that looked okay for the Steelers week 1. Like he gets banged up and he still catches a touchdown. He's a tough tight end. He gets targeted in the red zone. I still go Freiermuth. I think McDaniels takes Belichick to the woodshed. I mean, could happen. We'll see. The Patriots did play the Eagles week 1, but their defense did not look great. We'll see what happens. X, what's up? PPR League. At running back, I got Monty, Akers, Brees, Kelly, Pierce. I would start Monty and not Kelly. Probably call me crazy. I might just fire up Brees Hall here. I mean, I just think that he is a good enough player that the upside is there. So if you don't like him, you can go maybe Pierce. He gets the Colts. Pierce might actually be kind of a sneaky start, but like I alluded to earlier, I mean, Pierce's usage was a little concerning in week 1. We have to remember it's a new head coach, kind of a different offense. We're moving into the CJ Stroud era. Maybe we don't want to read too much into it because, like I said earlier, sometimes week 1 teams will utilize like more than one back and everything.
Pierce was really bad at the end of last season too. I know it's a whole new scheme, but it is a little concerning. He hasn't
Yeah.
been good for a while.
But I mean, when we look at the running backs for the Texans, Dameon Pierce had 11 touches, but Devin Singletary still had 7 touches, which is not that much lower. And then Mike Boone was the pass catching back and was on the field on third downs a lot. So that took Dameon Pierce's snap share to 45%, which is not ideal. Mike Boone had the second highest snap share, which is like, what? Mike Boone. So
I like Mike Boone. Mike Boone was like Minnesota's 4th running back for like 2-3 years. Not bad. Not
he
bad.
has had some surprising games here and there. He had like one relevant game last year. So it's kind of a, one of those players you roster in Madden, and you're like, yeah, that's my guy. But yeah, it was like 2019. He actually had some decent games for Minnesota. Anyways, Pierce could be sneaky against the Colts though. But week 1, I just think things were a little potentially shaky. So Fanan 18 PPR got CeeDee Lamb, Adams, JJ, Ridley. Which ones to start?
All of them.
Yeah. You start Ridley. I really like Ridley this week. I mean, it depends how many flex spots do you have. I don't know if Lamb's going to have a massive game in week 2. Sauce is good. He didn't look phenomenal week 1. Maybe he was thinking about his friend Aaron Rodgers. I don't know. Adams should have a better game against the Bills. Adams had Pat Surtain strapped to him. Pat Surtain could be the most underrated corner in the league.
It's him and Sauce for 1 and 2.
Yeah. So Pat Surtain is great. I probably sit. It was tough. It's tough. I mean, here's the thing. Any of these guys can go off. And that's the problem with 8-team leagues is like anyone go off.
It's
because all you guys are stacked. I think Ridley is the best matchup, the best game script. I'm glad you already started JJ. That was a no-brainer. Maybe I don't know. I love Lamb and Adams. Like, it's so hard to make these calls for 8.
I feel like Adams is a safer play.
That's fair. I am
because you already had a huge day from JJ.
I am leaning towards sitting Lamb, but like I don't ever want to sit CeeDee Lamb. But like I don't want to sit Adams or Ridley either, You can't go wrong here. You trust your gut. Kelly or Gibbs? I mean, I still go Gibbs here. I go Gibbs. Tommy, could be wrong. Didn't JSN tie targets? Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but I'll check very quickly. So Metcalf, 5. Passing offense was crap week 1. Lockett, 4. JSN, 5. I mean, that's good. But I mean, 4.3 fantasy points off of 5 targets is still not like it's still too early to start him. Metcalf at 94% snap share. Lockett 88%, JSN at 59%. So I mean, don't get me wrong, we're gonna have that week where JSN like pops
arrives.
Probably. Yeah, and like we're gonna ride it from there, but it's still just a little too early to start him over like proven players is all. Talks, good to see you, bro. Hope you're doing fantastic. What's up, man? GT Sport, Flex 1, PPR, Sanders, Dotson, Tutu, London, Judy, Puka. I like Dotson. I'm a Dotson guy. I go Dotson. Tutu might be interesting if Puka doesn't play, though. But not really because the Niners are kind of good. I would just start Dotson and move forward. Godfather, good to see you, my guy. Hello. Yango, 10 full PPR, best stash. Pierce, Charb, McKinnon. I do have Jets and Washington defense. You probably don't need both, quite frankly. I would stash Charbs straight up.
Yeah, I mean, he was awful last week watching him. But so he can only go up. He can only go up.
Yeah. I go Charpy. Cinnabon, what's up? Okay, I see at the bottom of the chat, Cinnabon says John has only gotten to where Jock's joined. No. All right, Chris and Don. It's really pick 2: Cooper, Dobbs, Dotson, Flowers.
Cooper.
And Dotson. That's my call. But I think Flowers and Dobbs could outscore either of them. This is a toughie. This is my final answer. I pray DJ Moore does not suck. That's my pray, Matthew. Who has the best chance to score between Pickens or Tutu? Probably Pickens. Be interesting to see how Pickens does this week. I hope he does well. All right, I'm going to do a speed run. Pete, you can come in at any moment you want.
Go ahead. Just run them down.
Njoku, Laporta, or Musgrave? I go Musgrave.
Musgrave.
Agreed. I'm going to skip through anything that's not a fantasy question. Jones or Richardson? Ooh, I kind of like A-Rich. A-Rich is the upside play. Jones is the floor play. Arizona's still.
Is he on the? Is Richardson off the injury report?
Not yet. So that's concerning.
Yeah.
But A-Rich is spicy. If you want to spice it up, you throw him in there.
He didn't look terrible either. He looked competent. Overthrew about 7 guys, but
you're going to do that week 1, right? You know, rookie. He looked good. Algier or Brees? I go Algier, but Brees is okay. J Money got an ugly one. Lost Dobbins and Eckler's out. Roshan, Spears, Dion. Roshan, I guess. I don't know. That doesn't sound.
That's pretty. He wasn't joking. That's ugly.
Ugly. You can't go Spears. Spears like actually might be the best play because the Chargers are so bad on defense that maybe in the off chance they have a play drawn up. I mean, he had a 54% snap share in week 1. That's okay.
That's good for Henry.
I mean, Henry only had a 48%. So like, but it wasn't really his type of game. So I don't know. I'm not confident in that though. I'm not confident in Deion Jackson, but he is the best matchup. This is awful. That's maybe Roshan, because maybe they get behind again and they give it to him. I don't know. All right, bottom of the chat, we have a super chat. Thank you so much for the $2 donation, Zach. Pitts or Laporta? I'm going Laporta, Zach.
Okay.
I don't like. I'm not a Pitts guy though. I've never been a Pitts guy outside of his rookie season. True. I was really vocal about benching Pitts on a consistent basis last year, and he did have some good games last year before he got hurt. But I don't know. I mean, are the Falcons going to throw the football against the Packers? Maybe. I just think the game script for the Seahawks and Lions is better. Laporta looks sharp. Pitts for a upside play with risk. Laporta for the opposite.
You sold me. Pitts had 2 catches for 44 yards last week.
Yeah, 2 targets for Pitts, 1 for London. Like, but the Falcons can't do that every week. They're not going to.
It feels like Ritter was bad. Like, it's not talked about enough how Ritter is a bottom 3 quarterback. It looks like.
Yeah, they need to figure that out. Algier or Dylan? I still go Algier here, but Dylan could be spicy. But I go Algier. Monty or Cook? I go Cook. Flex, Flowers or Dotson, or loser running back? I go Flowers or Dotson, whoever you like more. Both are really, I like both those guys a lot this week. Pick 2, Watson, Flowers, McLaurin, TJ Moore. Ooh, that's rough. I don't think you go McLaurin. He's going to have Surtain on him. I
like Flowers, especially if Watson's like, what's the Watson injury deal going to look like?
That's the tough part, right? Is like, we don't really know Watson's health. And then if Watson's out, then you go DJ Moore. But part of me says go Watson and Flowers if Watson's healthy. Sorry, DJ. I love you. Also struggle between Tua and Fields. You fire up Tua right now. I mean, don't give up on Fields. Don't drop Fields. Don't trade Fields for pennies. But right now we're riding that hot hand. We're throwing Tua in our lineups. I mean, QB1 in week 1, you know. Francisco just lost Dobbins. Should I make a trade? 10-team, 2 flex, Lawrence, Pollard, Walker. No, you're good. You have Walker, you have Pollard, you're fine. You have stud wide receivers, JJ, St. Brown, Debo, McLaurin. You have a connection between T-Law and Ingram. You're good, man. You're good. Don't panic about Dobbins. Would you start Burrow or Watson? Burrow. Burrow will be better. I mean, better than week 1. Watson, I like this week. Burrow, you have T. Higgins. Fire him up. If you want to go Watson, that's fine. Falcons' easiest schedule in the league. So wasn't it you, Pete, when we did our draft for the Catch Fan League that you're in? You told me that Vegas loves the Falcons to win the
Vegas loves the Falcons.
Yeah.
I love the Falcons. I picked the Falcons to win the NFC South. I don't think the Saints are very good.
Nice.
I think their defense is maybe. I think we saw it. Derek Carr was not good, and I mean the Titans' defense feels like they're good, but they're not elite.
Yeah. Okay, I was answering a question. Let me see. John, Kyle Pitts versus Green Bay or Higbee? I might go Higbee because the Rams are going to be playing from behind. I mean, Higbee didn't get as many targets as we like to see, but especially if Puka's out, then Higbee gets escalated. I go Higbee probably. Why are you out on Kelly? And how much more confident are you in Algier over him? I'm much more confident in Algier. Yeah. Green Bay was very bad against the run in week 1. Let's see here. They were 24th overall. If you did not notice, the Falcons will run the football a lot. So I fire up Algier. And then when it comes to Kelly, it's just I don't want to overreact to week 1. He looked good. Don't get me wrong. But ultimately, the Titans are good against a run. They shut down Jamal Williams off 18 touches. Jamal Williams, Kelly, who's better? I mean, I don't know. Probably Jamal Williams. But I just, this Titans unit, this is what they do. They stop the run. I mean, Kelly looked good, but the Dolphins just don't play defense based off of week 1 at least. So, yeah, if you have a player like Algier, you fire him up, man. Fire him up.
Falcons are going to be like a double running back play, it feels like.
And there have been teams over the last 5, 10, 15 years that have 2 running backs who are fantasy relevant. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. Give it time. Bijan will be the lead guy for sure, in my opinion. But Algier is, you got to ride it till it falls off.
And Algier will get goal line touches. Like, you trust him immensely.
I'm so mad at myself for not drafting Algier in any leagues. Tequila Wolf, what's up? Who'd you start at? Wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, my other league. I would start Flowers and Hopkins if he's healthy. If he's not, hopefully Watson's healthy. If he's not, hopefully Puka's healthy. But I prefer Flowers and Hopkins out of this list. Drop a like. Be sure to subscribe to the Fantasy Gods. Thank you, Tequila Wolf. That is nice words. Pick 3 to start, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex. You start Ayuk, you start Mike Williams, you start Flowers. Boom. Gibbs or Kelly? Gibbs. Hands down. Hands down. Dom says Browns are legit. We'll find out. Pick 2 to start Hall, Sanders, Kelly, or start all 3. Put Wilson on my flex. I don't really. All these running backs have bad matchups this week. So if you want to put Garrett Wilson in, that's fine. But he doesn't particularly have a great matchup either. But in full PPR, I would sit one of these running backs for Garrett Wilson. Wide receivers: JJ, Amon-Ra, Waddle, Garrett Wilson, Pittman. Oh, we already hit this one. Okay, I think. Yeah, I don't know why the chat does this to me. It like starts repeating for some reason. All right. I don't think I'm going to miss any questions. All right, we're almost there.
Dotson or Drake is the next
one. Santos, good to see you. Okay, Dotson or Drake. I see it. Okay. Dotson. Yeah, for sure. Dotson. I like this matchup a lot for Dotson, guys. I really do. Broncos didn't cover the wide receiver 2 last week. They're going to focus on Devontae Adams. Or excuse me, Terry McLaurin. They focused on Devontae Adams last week. Monty or Cook? I like both these guys this week. Cook for PPR upside, Monty for a floor. Flex Flowers or Dotson or DJ? Love all these guys. Except DJ makes me sad. But oh God. Flowers for a floor, Dotson for upside. DJ might get benched. See what happens.
He's 1 week. DJ's off. He's off the DJ train.
It's a better matchup for DJ Moore. I still have faith in the Bears, but It's just tough, man. It's tough because Flowers looks great. I love this matchup for Dotson. I might roll with those guys. It's tough here, though. All good options, Tony. People are with points for return yards, Dobbs or Burks. I mean, I don't really like Burks, but it is a decent matchup for him. I'd probably go Dobbs. Let's see. Drop a like, consider subscribing to get here first for fantasy questions and content. Appreciate that. I'm catching up. Promise. How long am I holding Dell? It depends on how bad you need wide receiver depth. I just dropped him in my 16 team league for Elijah Moore, but that's a 16 teamer. So if you want to hold him, that's fine. But he looks like he's third on the depth chart. Fairly even, or do you prefer side? Happy PPR, Hill and Kirk, or Ridley and Adams? I prefer the Tyreek Hill side, but I also really like Christian Kirk. I think both sides are good, but Tyreek Hill tips
the
the
ceiling
scale.
is just incredible for Tyreek.
It tips it way too far. Debo and ETN for Gibbs and Dynasty. I mean, that's probably okay. But even in a Dynasty format, you should be able to get a little bit more.
I want to keep ETN.
Yeah. And like, especially if you're trading to a team that's closer to a win now situation. But once again, I will tell you guys this 100 times. In Dynasty formats, for me, quarterbacks, wide receivers, the most important spots. Running backs, you can rotate, replace almost year in and year out. Good running backs still help quite a bit. Don't get me wrong, but it's close because you got Debo, I don't know, later in his career, and you got Gibbs is younger than ETN. So I mean, I probably wouldn't do it. It depends on if you're rebuilding. I would do this trade, but add a draft pick, especially if you get like a second rounder. That would be what I would do. Thomas in the flex, who do I pick? Scary Terry, Bourne, Roshan, or Shaheed? Not Roshan, not Scary Terry. Scott Surtain. I probably go Bourne, but expect disappointment because we just have one sample size out of Kendrick Bourne. So, Love or Fields? Shoot, that's tough. I mean, Love looked really good week 1. I think that there is a strong chance Fields plays well in week 2, but there's also a chance that Bears just suck.
I feel like Fields could run. There were definitely look like Fields could run for a good bit. There looked like
he did have a good game running the football. I think both are fine. I mean, the next question is Fields or Purdy. I still think Fields and Love are better than Purdy this week. I like Purdy. He's a good streaming option, but he's not like a ceiling play. He's a guy who's going to throw 2 touchdowns in the first, and then Christian McCaffrey's going to run for a 60-yard touchdown, and the Niners are going to play defense. I mean, not every game, but you get.
And then they win 34-14 against the Rams in McVay.
Yeah, it's like I like Purdy just fine. I was a big fan of Purdy going into the year. Loved him in Dynasty, but I probably just go Fields here. But Love is intriguing. Wondering if I should get depth. Ridley and Amon-Ra are what I'm staring at. I mean, then you're probably good. Play the waiver.
Who needs depth's overrated?
Yeah.
When you're looking at that as you're starting to.
Traded Garrett Wilson for Brian Robinson. Feel decent. Am I dumb? I mean, you're not dumb, but in full PPR, I still rather have Garrett Wilson overall. You know, I mean, we still saw what Garrett Wilson was capable of doing last year with bad quarterback play. But you're not dumb. I mean, just depends. I'd rather have Wilson though. Pick 2 for flexes: Connor, Flowers, Walker, Algier. Ooh, I go Flowers and Algier, but Walker's really close here. If you want to go Walker, that's fine, but it's close. I mean, it's a fair point here, Eddie. All of Wilson's games were better when Zach wasn't at quarterback. Had no running backs. RB1 is most start. I mean, in that situation, then the trade is probably okay. Probably okay. Okay, trying to get caught up here. Kel's good to see you. Watson, Gibson, Collins, Elijah Moore. Watson if he's healthy, and Nico Collins. If not, Collins and Elijah Moore. I really like Elijah Moore this week, but Nico Collins is a good play. Yeah, don't be jealous of Zach Wilson's cougar hunting skills. Good point. I feel like John just looks at whatever I say and reverses it. I haven't looked at any of your answers. But no, I like that you guys get your opinions out there in the chat. I go robot mode when I do this. All right, let me see. Madison has me lighting my eyebrows on fire every weekend. Jeez.
I tried to warn everybody during the draft. I said, do not touch Alexander Madison. The Vikings do not have a run game.
I only have him in one league, and he just fell super far. And then I was like, I mean, I think I got him like the 7th round in like a 12-team form. I mean, it's 3 wide receiver start, but yeah, he's relatively mediocre, right? After seeing what Puka did to the Seahawks, I'm a hammer Amon-Ra overs. I mean, yeah, Amon-Ra, like, yeah. Can't find video of the Chicago game. Want to see DJ Moore open, not targeted. Yeah, I don't want to think about it. All right. Okay, trying to get caught up. Oh, I got caught up. We did it, ladies and gentlemen. Bottom of the chat. I sat Scary Terry, Wilson, and Pickens. Wait, Scary T and Wilson for Pickens and Flowers. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, you could sit Scary Terry.
It took you 1 week to turn on the Bears. I'm not turning on the Bears completely, but something about this matchup makes me feel a little weird. I don't know why. I still have faith in the Bears, and I do have faith in DJ Moore. But I do think there are, I mean, some of the players we're getting, like Dotson, for example, I really like this week. Zay Flowers, I really like this week. I just think maybe, and I still think your role with Justin Fields, like there might be some intriguing options. Like Jordan Love's really intriguing right now. But yeah, on the season, like maybe we should take a step back. Like maybe end up bitching DJ Moore for some better matchups to see what happens. But I'm not out. Listen, Cinnabon, I have a lot of shares of Fields and DJ Moore and Komet and to a degree Mooney and even a little Herbert. So I'm just feeling a little queasy is all. I'm not giving up on your squad. Can't wait to see the matchup between Hill and Sauce again. This should be fun. I don't know if anyone can cover Hill, though. Richard Fields. I mean, this is tough. It's not like
I'd lean Fields.
Yeah, I mean, how do you feel the Bucs really played against the Vikings week 1 defensively?
I mean, they forced turnovers, kind of, but not really. Minnesota just did it to themselves. I mean, we threw all over them. All over that. If they can protect, but again, I don't think the Bears can protect. So
yeah.
The problem is here is, I mean, Komet's going to draw good coverage. Can they clear out and give Field space to run? Because they did play man quite a few times, and obviously they're probably not going to play as much man against Fields versus Kirk Cousins because he ain't taking off on you. So.
And I think the deciding factor here could be Richardson being a little dinged up. I mean, he's off the injury report.
Okay.
And Houston struggles against the run. I mean, we know Richardson can run.
They weren't terrible against Lamar last week, though.
They weren't. They put a spy on him, and they were pretty successful with it, actually. They weren't good against running backs.
Yeah. But then, I mean, yeah, they might do the same thing for Richardson. They might just say, "Oh,
this is really tough." But I think we stick with Fields. You know what? Just because Cinnabon came at me, I'm sticking going back to the Bears. If you own Bears players, start them all. Gibbs or Connor, I go with the upside here. I go Gibby. Cinnabon, I'll be at the Bears game. I'm going to be optimistic and say they will be way better. Let's go. I hope you enjoy the game.
Well, they can't be any worse, so that is a positive.
It's true. When Bears having half my leagues, Fields, DJ, maybe Komet, thinking second half, he's going to light it up again. I mean, I would not be mad if Fields sucks for like 6 or 7 weeks and then does what he did last year. So Fields had more completions than any game last year, though. I knew the Bears were bad after I drafted Fields fantasy. Still ran the ball well. Fields long term. We'll see what happens. Mahomes, Barkley, Cook, Allen, MT, Hawkinson, Jones, Swift, have Jason and Shaheed as notable bench. Who should I trade and for what? You could look to upgrade at. I mean, come on, man. You're starting Swift as your RB2. What am I saying? I would actually try to upgrade at wide receiver because Allen, still a veteran. He gets banged up. MT, self-explanatory. I mean, same sentence, but to a much larger degree. Zay Jones is nice, but he's still a flex option. Jason and Shaheed, good bench options. But yeah, I would still go looking for wide receiver depth. But you can't, based off of what we have here, you can't trade any running backs. So I don't know what you can really do unless you're packaging 2 wide receivers for upgrade. Let's see. Brad, 10 team, Josh Allen, Eckler, Swift, Cup, CD, AJ Pitts. Bench is Raheem and Dalvin, MT. Team looks pretty good, but Cup is kind of hurting the squad right now. And you don't have, I don't know. You're in a tough spot right now. Your team is actually looking kind of bad because Allen is probably going to be better coming off a bad game. Eckler's hurt. Swift, nice. Cup is on your IR. CD, good. Bad matchup this week. AJ played bad. Pitts, 2 targets. MT. Raheem came off the injury report. Low ceiling. Dalvin Cook.
Now bad. No quarterback.
Yeah, so actually, I'm a little worried for you, my dude. I have Josh Kelly as well. I mean, you just got to lie. You got to put the best lineup you possibly can in and not think about it. Move forward. After the review has a question.
What do we think? What do you think?
Is this your roster?
This is mine. I gotta get it. Got it.
I go Zay Jones.
That's where I was going. I'm glad we're on the same page here. I'm a little mad because I didn't do enough digging and I sat Addison, so that's me.
Oh no.
But I played Algier, so I feel okay. I got that going for me. I feel
Oh no.
My team is so bad in our league anyway.
Oh, that's our league. I can't even keep up, dude. I have so many leagues to man. Every day I pull up Sleeper and I'm like, what am I doing?
I finished 4th in scoring or 5th in scoring last week and lost. I was getting killed. The Cowboys D hung a 40 piece on me and I almost came back. Or I hung a 40. I put up a 40 with my Cowboys D and I almost came back. I was like, I was getting killed. I was like, oh man, I almost won. Now I'm sad.
Oh no.
It's one of those like, I'm sad I almost came back because I'm okay with I'd much rather get blown out than lose anything close ever.
Yeah, Juju, very concerning week 1. I mean, he still had 7 targets, so I guess
they're playing no defense. They're playing the Dolphins.
That's true. Defense. That's true. But I think you like Zay Jones. So
I do like Zay Jones. He catches touchdowns.
Yeah. By the way, guys, we'll probably end in exactly 10 minutes right at midnight my time. So that'll be 2 hours for the night. So if you guys have anything, make sure to get it in. We'll start kind of speeding through. Do you go Dotson or Flowers over Waddle or Higgins? No. Don't mention Josh Kelly on this stream.
He's banned. Put it on the banned word list.
That's right. Okay, sorry. It's bringing me back to the top of the chat. I don't know why it does this. Okay, I'm good here. Have no qualms starting AR-15. That's fine. Just win against Hurt, Smith, Hawkinson. I'm just going to call it a week. You never know, man. I mean, it's tough, but you never know. That's the beauty of it, right? Should I trade Watson for Kamara? I mean, probably not. It depends on your team. Brad, your team's not out of it. Don't worry too much. But yeah, just based off of week 1 and going into week 2, it's a little worrisome. You need to probably start to look for some depth. But you're also in a position where you have multiple like kind of star players who are in just a bad position right now. But so much can change within the next week, within the next month that don't worry too much. But I was just purely going off of the past 2 weeks. So should I trade Cuff for Smith? I would say yes.
100%.
Yeah.
Not even a question.
I mean, it's like, do you want a thorn in your side that could, I mean, like Sean McVay came out and said that Cup should be good to go. I mean, once again, like proceed with caution. Or no, he didn't say should be good to go. He said he's hopeful Cooper Cup returns in week 5. That is not a great sentence. That I don't know. I would rather have Devonta Smith right now. In my home league, I just want to put it out there. It's a keeper league, so the first round's all jacked up anyways. I had the 1.12. I went Devontae Adams and Jalen Waddle. And my gut was like, why don't you go Devonta Smith and Calvin Ridley and just switch it up? And each round for like the first 6 rounds, I was going to switch it up, and I didn't trust my gut, and I think my team's going to suffer for that reason. Anyways, that's a story. Playing Beach Hunt and Flexi in Algier, I don't hate it. Not in this matchup. I don't remember what. Oh, should I trade Watson for Kamara? You have Diggs, Waddle, Williams. I mean, what running backs do you have? If your running backs are bad, then maybe. Because once again, like I don't. If you feel like the Watson thing could be an issue, then maybe that's fine. But I like Watson a lot still. He just needs to be healthy. Looks like Jordan Love can do things with the football. Pittman or Ayuk? Ayuk. Pittman, good game, good target share. Richardson looking, to his direction. But this Texans secondary is not awful. Stingley is a good corner. He was on Odell for most of the game. So we didn't see a lot of Odell. But still, I just go Ayuk. Ayuk is a must start every week. Begged you guys to draft him. And anyways. Rate my team: Prescott, Saquon, Pollard, Metcalf, Higgins, Dotson. 14 team. I don't know how you have this team in a 14 teamer. It's beautiful. Field team: C. Walker, Metcalf, Devontae, Waller, Kelly. Bench, I have Watson, Hollywood, Nico. I will go Nico over Kelly. That's my opinion. Is it just me, or is it hard to rate without seeing the pictures of the team? You get used to it, but it is easier if you have it in front of you. But it's not too bad. Christian Watson, Gibson, Nico Collins. I feel like the chat is repeating for me again. It is. And it's hard to tell. Like, have I answered this already? Yeah, I have. I'm yeah.
Watson, Nico Collins, Elijah Moore pick 2.
We have. Because I just went through and I don't know why it does this. Okay, now we're back to David. Yeah, I will go Collins over Kelly. Yeah, don't overreact too much to the first 4 weeks of the season is a good rule of thumb. That was me last year. Really overreacted and ruined a team.
Don't worry. A few dozen more players will get hurt between now and week 3.
It's true. Flowers, Dillon, or Moss? Flowers. For sure. Bench is, what's up, Stober? Bigsby, Zeke, Chiron, Hollywood. Am I wasting space? Also have Myers and Watson. Yeah, keep those guys. No, I mean, you have 3 handcuffs, committee guys, and you have Hollywood Brown. You're fine. It depends on who's out there, but probably not. Bourne or London? I mean, right now I'm going Bourne against Miami. Yeah. Hello, Joe. Puka or Debo? I mean, listen, I really like Puka. We liked him going in the year. We talked about him in Dynasty a lot, but he's hurt. They're going against the Niners. Debo.
Still Debo.
The Rams' dad as well. He's really good when he plays the Rams. So, and once again, I really like Puka. I get it. We have a lot of hype. It's week 1, week 2, I guess, whatever. But you're still starting Debo in this situation. 23 points in week 4 against the Rams last year. And he was hurt the second game, but okay, whatever. The year before that, 30 points and 28 points. He plays really good against the Rams. So, Debo. Connor, Pacheco. Both are fine. Both are floor plays. Probably Connor, but Pacheco's fine. Rate my team to AR, Eckler, Chubb, Pollard, Najee, Judy, Debo, Puka. I mean, it depends on how many teams, scoring format, but your team looks just fine. Perfectly fine. Running backs look great. I mean, this is a team where you're flexing a running back. Let's see here. Scotty Boy, pick 1, half PPR, Godwin, Rashad White, Hopkins, Zeke, Akers, Hill. If Hopkins is healthy, you start him. The matchup's too good to ignore. Then I go Rashad White because it's half PPR. Then I go Godwin. Was offered Cup for Waddle and Brian Robinson. I would probably take it. But it's just one of those things. Once again, you got to look at your roster, your depth, what positions you need depth at. Is the thorn in your side worth it with holding on to Cup, or do you want some immediate value? Do I keep Gano or get Folk? You get Folk. Why do you have to drop 2? Do you have like someone on IR? He's not supposed to be on IR, but yeah, go get Folk. Javonte or Kenneth Walker? Walker, for sure. Cinnabon, have a good night. If I don't talk to you tomorrow, have fun at the game. Bear down, baby. Fields is bouncing back. I forgot I can't say that on stream when Pete's here with us.
I mean, it doesn't offend me. I don't get offended by teams I'm not worried about.
10-man PPR also have Cup. Oh, well, thank you here. Yeah. Wide receiver is a little worrisome, but like you can roll out Debo and whoever for now. Hopefully Cup is good for you, but like you're starting AR, Chubb, Pollard, Eckler when he's around, and if you're the second flex, maybe Najee, but team looks okay for now. You're fine. 500 passing yards, 100 for Justin Fields.
10 tutties. Like it.
Higgins or Garrett Wilson, just due to matchup, I go Higgins. It's not even a great matchup for Higgins, but it's a better matchup. But don't panic on Wilson, but I start Higgins here. 7 targets week 1, 0 catches. He'll be okay, I think.
We hope.
We hope.
I have Higgins stock. We hope.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for the night. So a couple things. Pete's channel after the review. I mean, you guys know Pete by now, but that it is pinned in the chat for you guys. Make sure you go drop a sub to Pete, good friend of the channel, long friend of the channel. And Pete, thank you for joining us tonight. Had a blast with you.
Absolutely.
Probably gonna be a regular Friday thing, but we'll let you guys know. But guys, seriously, it takes you less than 30 seconds. Click the link, drop a sub to Pete. Hit the like on the way out because that's good for YouTube stuff. If you guys are new, thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for your fantasy questions. Thank you to all you guys, whether you're new or not, for your fantasy questions. Discord link down below, completely free to join. Get community feedback at any time. We have a great little Discord community. You guys can hit me up on there. I'll try to get back to you when I can. Instagram link is down below. Follow us on Instagram and all that good stuff. So we'll hit this last one very quickly. Mac Jones over Fields. Whew, I do like Mac Jones as a streaming option. I'd probably still go Fields. Go for
500 yards, 10 touchdowns, guaranteed.
Let's go, baby. Mac Jones is a good streaming option, but I'd probably stick with Fields. Don't forget, you drafted some of these guys for a reason. Just it's 1 week. Let's give it a little bit of time. Remember why you drafted these guys. Mr. B, thank you for joining the community. We appreciate you, man. All right, guys. We will go ahead and sign off. Pete, I don't know if you want to say anything, but we'll finish
I'm
up.
good. I mean, check out my channel. Do all sorts of sports news stuff throughout the week. We got power rankings every Tuesday. I do live streams every Monday night during the Monday night games. So doubleheader this week should be, not a great first game, but Cleveland-Pittsburgh, very interesting game. So yeah, always having a blast. Love talking fantasy with you guys. Hopefully we don't let everybody down.
Hey, I always tell people I'm going to give you the best advice I possibly can. My personal opinion, but always, always trust your gut at the end of the day. And I can be wrong just as much as anyone else. But I also realize I don't have to pin your channel in the chat because you're in the title. If you just click on the title.
Oh, nice.
I'm kind of smart. Should I drop Tony?
Known that, so.
Yeah. Should I drop Tony to pick up Hollywood? Yes. Tommy, have a great night. All right, guys. Love you guys, man. Love this community. Love the Catch fam. Pete, thanks for being here tonight. And we'll talk to everyone next week. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. I'll be on for some late night Saturday fantasy Q&A. I will be on Sunday morning as well. So if you guys need anything, don't panic. We got time. Let's go. With that, I will say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on the Catch. And